Hey YouTube, Eagle Run 23 here. Well, we had another grocery run and picked up 20-pound bag of rice. They hadn't had these in stock, and felt like we needed to grab a couple extra. And I want you to notice on here there are some holes in the bag, and so this is why when you're putting stuff away, you would want to use a bucket. Now, we've been debating whether or not a bucket is the best way to go or not. But for something like this, it's going to conform to the size of the bucket. It's not going to waste any space. You could always put a bucket-sized Mylar bag in here and dump your rice into the Mylar bag if you're more concerned about long-term. But we'll go through this and use this up here in the next little bit. I actually have some older stuff that we need to use first. But anyway, make sure you're rotating your things. But the reason why I picked this up, right now, this is just over $10, $10.50. And it's possible that an item like this could be $20 or $30 in as little as 6 months. And that's pretty crazy. You see, they're telling us that inflation is 6%. It seems like a manageable enough number. I don't know how many of you got 6% raises here recently. Maybe you did, that's cool. But something like this, over the course of time, is just going to increase in value. And that's a weird thing to say because this is a 10-pound bag of rice, but it's the weird world that we are living in. If your question is, are they lying to us about inflation? The answer is, yeah, probably. Most likely, because the government's interest in us being concerned about inflation and our interest in inflation, those interests don't align. They're going to be concerned about bigger picture things, whereas what's happening at your household isn't going to be on any politicians, anyone in Washington's radar. So you can just sit there and starve or rot for all they care. And for them, they want to make sure that there's not some sort of mass panic going on. So when your interests don't align, you definitely have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your family. And I'm not advocating that anyone do anything wild. I've said before on videos, don't go out and buy pallets of freeze-dried food that's, it's kind of like just add water. You can just grab a couple extra things that you're already using. That is just simply the best, most rational advice. So we're going to put this, we're going to leave it in this bag, and we're going to put it into our bucket. So there's 200, let's see if you can see on here, 202 servings. So 200 servings, you can do the math on this. Quarter cup servings. I think my family usually makes a half a cup of rice at a time, maybe just a little bit over that. And then 160 calories per half cup. So there's a ton of calories in here just with rice. So you're definitely not going to be enjoying eating just rice, but hopefully you have some other things that you've been putting away that you could make that go a little bit further. But tons of calories in that 20-pound sack of rice. A couple other things that are on my list that I'm buying extras of right now. We're just kind of buying one or two extras of things to help fortify what we have that's extra. These little gas cans. So I have the little burner stoves that take these, and they're not, the prices on these have gotten a lot crazier as well. I wish I documented what I paid for them, but some of these I feel like I paid $3 or $4 for, and I think they're $7 or $8 now. And that was several years ago. I still have a bunch of them because we just don't go through them that quickly. And they do reseal, so you can attach, burn, and then take it off, and it stays good for a while. So make sure you've got propane, make sure you've got little ways to make fire. In the back of my mind, I still have this freeze thing that happened to us last year where the power was out and there was no heat in our home off and on. We mostly had rolling blackouts, so we were spared some of the worst of it, but just nice to be able to boil water there, like a turkey fryer base. So it's the base, and I've got some pots coming in. We're gonna work up a bean recipe. I'll share that with you when we get that going. But as we know, this is a global issue, and what happens here and what happens elsewhere are kind of all related. With all the supply chain shortages and all the issues all around, they're still blaming that stuff on the coronavirus. And while that may have been part of the catalyst early on, Right now, it's just good old-fashioned inflation that's hurting us a lot. We're trying to just take on the idea of plan for the worst and hope for the best, and I hope your family is doing that as well. Hey, Future Eagle Run here. I shot this video yesterday, and last night and this morning I read a couple of articles. Janet Yellen is our Treasury Secretary, and she has come out and said, oh, you know, inflation is transitory, and there's been other people that are saying that. I think our president also said that. And she said that she's not concerned about runaway inflation. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about how they're not going to say that it is. They just want you to think that everything's fine. And while 6% is not that big of a deal, there are some major issues here at play. And the article I read talked about how nearly 40% of the money, as in like bills, dollar bills, that have been on the earth in the United States were from the last few years. And I don't have those stats 100% correct. This is just an article I read the other day. You can definitely go back and look that up. I encourage you to do your own research, but 40% of our money is from here in the last couple of years. That's crazy. They can't lower the interest rates anymore because they're already so low. And what happened in the 70s is very different than what's happening now. In the 70s, there were less things associated with like what it takes to live. And so the inflation rate compared from the 70s to now it's going to be up to a lot of interpretation. Now, we do have rising gas prices. There was actually a gas shortage in the 70s. I don't know that we necessarily have a gas shortage. I think we just maybe have some mismanagement. They also cherry pick the items that they use when they come up with this rate of 6%. You may not care about an increase on tobacco, but you do care about an increase on the price of tomato ketchup. So some of the things may not hit you. Some of the things are going to be way higher than 6%. And it could be that all the things that your families buy are in the higher category, and some of the things that other families buy are in the lower category. So there's just so much to this. It's difficult to put a number on it because it's going to affect all of our families very differently. So in the next couple videos, we're going to keep doing a couple other things that we're putting stuff away for. I filled up all my propane tanks. I rotate 4 propane tanks. So just took one off yesterday that is empty. So I put a spare one on. So I've now got 1 empty, 2 full, and 1 in the grill. So I need to go make sure that one's filled up. I also rotated through my gas here the last couple of weeks. We don't have much, but rotate through some 5-gallon containers of gas. If you've been sitting there for a while, dump them in when you got half a tank, and you burn them up, and then go fill those things off with fresh fuel. So trying to make progress each week on a couple of things. I don't really have a huge list of stuff that I want to do. I've been working on these things for years, so I kind of have a couple things squared away. You want to check out some coffee? I'd love to send you some. Texas Parks Outlet Coffee. That's texasparksoutlet.com. And I'll send you out some coffee. You guys can you can try it out and see what you think. Fresh roasted stuff, really good. Enjoy a good cup of coffee. So anyway, thank you so much for watching Eagle Run 23. We'll see you on the next video.